Hey everybody, I'm Cheryl Swift, the Duchess of Rock and Roll. I'm here today at the one and only Sonic Ranch recording studio with
Tom McElvain
and
Joe Austin.
And we're here in the famous, very famous Neve recording room and studio.
Mm-hmm. And didn't know why until this week.
There's something magical that happens here, isn't it?
Well, Neve's always had a history, but this room, nobody hyped up this room, and I don't think they could have with all the things we've experienced in the last 6 days or so, and it's been pretty awesome.
Yes. I would say being invited to witness it and write about it and do the interview, I've never quite seen this level of magic in a studio. I mean, I've been in them,
Yeah.
but this is Shangri-La for musicians.
They relieve all the pressure on us. We don't have
Yes.
to worry about our cooking or cleaning, rooming, and all that stuff. They take care of everything. And it's 24/7. It just, what your engineer is capable of pulling off.
Right.
And we've been blessed with Charles, who is a monster.
Yes.
He is a workhorse.
The engineer we're working with, Charles, is just so smooth. Like he doesn't, even if he has to say something harsh, it's not harsh. He's just the most mellow guy,
Yeah.
but he gets his job done with a sense of urgency.
Charles Godfrey has probably one of the best set of ears that I've seen go to work in a long time.
Right. So Joe's,
Is that irritating?
yes. We're in the most probably acoustically sound room I've ever been in my life, and everything you're doing here is amplified by 10.
I know.
So I met Tom and Joe this summer. They were doing a writer's round in, were we in Durant, Oklahoma?
We were in Durant. I recall you being all smitten with Casper McWade, so we didn't really get to hang out with you a whole lot.
Hey, Casper, the truth's out now. I was like, who's that guy? But in my defense, I have videos of you and Joe both singing. It was backstage that I was taken with Casper, apparently, so I apologize.
Well, he is a charming fellow.
He is a charming fella, but that day, seeing you all play, I knew you had co-written some songs with Cody Jinks.
Right.
And so getting to see you play was extraordinary to me, because I'd always heard about you, but that was the first time I'd seen you play in person.
Right. Well, I ain't gonna lie. Them coattails have been nice this year.
Yes.
We've had the honor of meeting so many great people that were brought in our direction through Cody. And Cody and I have known each other for almost 15 years, I guess. And I had this song, Rock and Roll, that I was tossing around, and he came in and found a way to make it his own and put it on an album, and things just kept growing. And then we did Gray out here, about a mile down the road from here is the Adobe Session building where we did Gray at. And through the love of all of you guys, the flockers and people that want to watch out for us, and I mean, just like you coming out and documenting this and everything means the world to us.
It's my
Because
pleasure.
this is the first time that I recall being in a studio that I got to sit back and watch it all grow and not be all involved in it. Everybody here is on the same plane.
There's a frequency
Yeah.
that's really smooth and great. And buttery has been a word we've thrown
Yeah.
around in the studio a lot.
Joe and I, we had this idea in our head to try to get the old sound back, but we were concentrated on the country part of it, and because our hearts weren't really there, I feel like when we came in here, the spirits and the energy said, okay, we like what you got, but we need you to move over and let us show you how this needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the sound that we've come up with is unique, and it's different. It has the soul and the roots of you, but it took its own wings.
Well, and that's on my boy Joe, man. He
Yeah, you have an extraordinary producer over here on this album.
Yeah, he definitely knows exactly what I want, to the point to where I can walk in. You've seen I've left here for hours and
Walk back in and you're perfectly pleased.
yeah.
And his ear, the concentration that it takes to be a producer, especially when it's your best friend, it's a lot at stake for both of you, for all of us that are here. And to watch it unfold with such ease and grace is not always the way it goes in the studio.
No.
Not at all.
And there's not been one foul word, there's not been one cussing, there hasn't been one anything.
Right.
It's been like, okay. or that works, or let's do that again. And I've never been in the studio when in 4 takes a song is complete. Like, that's like unheard of. I know guys who could spend 3 days on a line.
That's the band, man, they're workhorses.
Yeah, the band that we have here this week with the guys has been extraordinary to work with. You know, no complaints, fighting through the flu.
Yeah, well, handsome Chad Henderson just wasn't
Handsome
looking at
Chad.
pretty this week.
Woo! Handsome Chad, a little peaked. When you're that cute, it just doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess Chad and I kind of got to playing together, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and I just fell in love with his tone. I've played with a lot of great lead guitarists, and I've played with a lot of technical lead guitarists, and I've never met one that just knew his own tone and identity, and he owns it. And he came in here and got to shine it through all the vintage
There's
gear.
some
Amazing
equipment.
gear, yeah.
I don't know if you can see behind us, but Chad yesterday, can you pick up that guitar? Chad yesterday played this. It's, I believe, Billy Gibbons' guitar. And when Chad picked it up, it was like, oh my stars. Like,
What song was it on?
Chad, you want to come tell them a little bit about
yeah,
it?
come on in. This is handsome Chad Henderson. Yeah, if you could talk, it's so good. Just project towards over there.
Okay.
Let's get you in the frame over here.
Oh, okay,
There you
sure.
go, babe.
So these are PAF pickups, patent applied for pickups. They're worth about 15 grand a piece if you can find some. And these pickups through a 59 Bassman, which is what's the lead tone on? What song is the lead tone on that?
Why did you have to pay?
Why did you have to pay? You'll hear like a searing sort of lead tone, and it's these PAFs through that amp, which is, I don't know if there's many studios in the world that you can get this combination with that amp. You know,
It was brilliant. What the sounds you were making were extraordinary. I don't even know how else to put it.
I mean, I barely even had to play it. That's how it felt.
Like, it
You know
felt
what I
like it
mean?
was coming through you.
Yeah. Felt like I played 4 notes, which I guess
Right.
I sort of did,
But you
the
could
sustain was
tell.
all there,
Yeah.
Not to mention it was on about Billy Gibbons. That's just cool.
Right. Shout out, Billy.
Yeah, he needs one.
Yeah, I know you don't need it,
We're
but
gonna
we
try
were
to-
all mesmerized.
We'll help you out a little bit here, man.
Because, just in case.
This is Billy's trick right here. This is how you know it's a Billy Gibbons guitar. He'll top rack these stop tail pieces. So going down into it, he'll actually flip it over. Come around. That's a Jimmy Page, Billy Gibbons thing.
Oh,
But yeah.
thanks for
Chad.
the drop in, handsome Chad.
Could you wipe that down with some Lysol real quick?
I need
Right, yeah, please take your, poor Chad's been eating cold medicine like Tic Tacs. So we got some tracks laid down. One thing I wanted to ask you about before we move on is, yesterday there was this question on Facebook about the song Bray, which you and Cody wrote together. Were you the originator of the song, or did you write that with Cody?
I wrote that with Cody.
Okay.
In fact, that was probably one of the easiest and hardest songwriting sessions I've ever had, because Cody he'll have an idea, and I'll paint a picture of the idea, and he'll look at my picture and go, that's too easy to read. How do we make it more complicated and artistic, but still get the point across? And he takes me down a road that I usually give up on before I get there, and it was just a lot of
Oh, so he pushed you to a new lyric.
Oh, yeah. He's like, he's our country Jesus. He's cool. He's
Right.
laid back. I'm over there just beating a whiskey bottle against my head, what the hell's wrong with this line? What's wrong with this line?
Right.
And it's just, it all came to a point, we were in the room, it was about this time of year, I can't remember, it was cold as hell, I know that. And he hadn't been home in a while, and he was tired and kind of cranky and wanted to get home, and I was cranky that, he was cranky because he was living the dream, and we just kind of hit each other head on with our problems, and it was like that song just kind of went, phew, and we were like, oh, yeah, this is for us. We got to quit pissing and moaning and take care of what this song tells us to take care of.
Right.
So it was more for me and Cody than was anything.
Right. It's the beauty of the gray, missing home, the
Yeah.
in between, the space.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I remember before we wrote it, we were out in Dallas, I think it was, watching an awards show, and I told him I was a little nervous going in and writing because, rock and roll had already written itself pretty much until Cody came in and changed it to be more like him, which I
Right.
think he did a really wonderful job with. He goes, what are you worried about? And I said, I don't think I can write another rock and roll. And I felt that way up until Gray was finished. And then when I looked at Gray, I was like, wow,
Right.
that just happened.
Right.
And I don't know how.
Magic. It's Sonic Ranch and magic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something else magic. Thanks for the explanation of gray. I know a lot of people ask about that, and I wasn't comfortable completely answering the question, and now I know the answer to that question, so thank
Not to
you.
mention it was written here.
And it was written here, which,
Yeah.
of course, that's part of why I wanted to bring it up, because
Right.
magic things happen here when like energies collide, and that's what's happening around us here this week.
Oh, yeah.
And so, thinking about like energies colliding, Joe Austin is one of your best friends and your producer on this album, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you met and how this relationship has evolved into this project and the next.
I got a buddy that goes by the name of Robbie White, and every time he finds a really talented individual, I steal it from him.
You're stolen?
It's stolen property.
I did not know that.
No, and usually that's the case, but we did a show at a festival one summer, and Joe and I hadn't met each other yet, but we were going to be on stage together. And it was one of those deals where we just got there in time to get on, so we didn't get to really properly get to know each other. And we got up there and we did our show, and we both just kind of had this look like, I dig what you're doing. So we started messing around with some stuff and playing, and we decided we needed to go on the road and see if we could travel all together. And if that was, then that would solidify our projects we're going to do together. And Joe was right in the middle of a single that he was promoting and trying to get out.
So this was how long ago?
About a year and a half ago, maybe,
Mhm.
something like that.
Well, it'll be a year.
A year today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that was all going down, and we both knew that we wanted to work together, but we really didn't want to let go of all the work we put into putting our name out there and our status so we could continue getting good jobs and
Right.
stuff like that. And we toured for about a year working on that Woodwire and Whiskey show with all the intentions of kind of helping each other out with projects, and then two beautiful women came into my life, and they've been following me around for a couple of years and liked the music, what was going on. You know, I don't care if they don't want me to do it. Linda Worley, Teresa Havner, thank you. They put the money in our hand to do this project, and said, we want you to do whatever you want to. You don't owe us anything. So I told Joe, I said, let's get this one out of the way, then we'll finance Woodwire and Whiskey, and then we'll take the money that's coming in from that, we'll do his solo album. And through all of that, we started our own record label that we launched yesterday.
Yes.
Joe, you want to tell them about the record?
Well, I mean, it's
Or the label, whatever?
yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a way for us to operate without losing our artistic freedom, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We like to do things organically. We like to get the, you know, the old kind of analog sound, and a lot of people don't do that anymore. So we're blessed to have an engineer like Charles Godfrey that is,
Charles?
he's got it down to a fine art, and we got to come in here and track live, which is one of my favorite things to do, and it's put a presence and energy on this record that we couldn't have got any way else. So it's been really, really nice, and these songs are coming together on their own, and it's just taking on something really, really cool.
It's definitely magic here.
And it's the first project that we're going to release under Committed Records. First of many, I hope. What
Yeah.
Joe and I are anticipating with this new company is eventually moving into finding other artists that we believe are doing it for the right reasons and really putting out a beautiful sound. And Joe's producing is just phenomenal. So he's way more of a producer than I am. He hears things that I don't, but every once in a while I'll have a little something to say, and they let me be included and all that.
You're in it more than you realize.
It's nice to see people work together so smoothly. You know, it's just not always that way. And you are blessed to have backers who believe in you 152%.
And to give
And-
us the freedom to do what
Yeah.
we feel is the right.
Right.
Yeah, there's a-
It's
That's
one thing to
huge.
have a certain kind of backer, and it's another thing to have freedom with a backer. That's two different sides of a coin.
Yeah, they're a product of what we've been seeing a lot growing in the last year or two, and it's people who love music and don't want to see it die, and love it for the right reasons, which is not for fame or money, but for celebration, for making somebody feel not so alone, helping you get through moments when you can't express yourself. The words that you can't say, I can't say, but I can sing them, you know,
Right.
so, you know.
Which is why people get moved and cry and
Oh,
lose
yeah.
their marbles at shows, is because you can sing something that someone else might not be able to say to their wife or their best friend or to their ex or to whomever. It's okay. Like, we're in a solid sound room, squeak in the chair. But it's true, you know, there are songs that move us that we could never say to someone, but in the lyric, the point gets across. And it's beautiful how you do that. You know, one of the things that I appreciate about you and Joe both is the struggle that it took to get here. And I was wondering if you'd talk a minute about what has gone on, that you hit the bottom and came back out here. I would like you to talk a little bit about that experience in your life.
Okay, I've been doing this for about 20 years. We had a lot of success right up front, and with that comes options, and my options were pills and methamphetamines, and they took me away from myself and everything else that was going on, all the inner demons and crap. And I'm not that guy that gets to party on drugs. Whenever when I got on that stuff, I rode the dark train and saw demons battle angels and fought with my own self-existence and my soul. And now that I've been clean for 10 years, I think now.
Wow.
I believe I could pass a lie detector test on the things I saw, because they were so vivid. And all that changed when I finally hit bottom and saw myself and didn't recognize myself in the mirror. And I'd lost my home, my vehicles. I owned like 2 pair of pants, and I was living in a stranger's bathroom. And I found my dad, and he took me in and got me started on cleaning up. And I made some calls, and most weren't willing to take me back after the no-shows, but the Texas music scene took me back with open arms, especially Terry Razor and Tommy Iverson. They gave me a second shot and let me rebuild my career and rebuild myself. But in the meantime, I was still struggling with alcohol at a point to where I was just ready to go. And that's when my wife came along, and instead of yelling at me or anything like that, she just cared for me and showed me the pain that she went through whenever I did that stuff. And eventually I came to my system. I came to my senses, thank you. And I feel like I've got a second shot, and I don't want to screw it up.
Second half, as they say.
Yeah. And,
I tell
you
people
know,
I'm nearing halftime,
well,
and I want the second half to be,
yeah.
you know.
It's like this whole thing. When I finally took care of me and got me right, where I could love other people again, I didn't know where to go with it. I didn't know what to do, and I was kind of happy in my dormant state. But then he put Joe into my life, and Joe forced me to want to go further. And it's like we found out that we both have the same passions, but we have different sounds, and it's fun. Like he said, we have freedom now. This is passionate to me. And the next one's going to be the Woodwire and Whiskey Deal. That'll be fun in trying to recreate some of the old country sounds. And then whichever direction his album goes, I'm going to dive into that one.
Right.
You know, and I've got this idea in my head for another album. So we've got the next 4 or 5 years mapped out already.
Right.
And there's no sitting around, because either I'm calling him or he's calling me every day going, let's get busy.
Right.
And it's working.
It's nice to have a partner in business and in life who gets you. I mean, you have your wife, you have Joe, so you have your wife and your best friend who both get you and accept you exactly the way you are and exactly the way you're not, which most people don't get in their life. You know,
Right.
people have thoughts or judgments or
Right.
restrictions, and, well, that's no fun.
Yeah,
You know.
that's an ongoing thing with my wife and I ask her, why the hell you in love with me? She goes, I don't know. There's something wrong with me.
I don't know, Tom. But you're here now, and I love the fact that you're here, and that the demons
Me too.
didn't win that night on the floor.
No, they didn't.
And it's beautiful redemption and grace what they bring.
Oh, yeah. And if you think you're out of control, then you are, and hold on, because something good's going to happen.
Right.
You just got to have your eyes open and your ears. You know, Joe and I could have been meeting each other going, oh, he's stealing my thunder, he's doing this or anything like that.
This
No,
isn't
we-
egocentric at all.
No, we both just want to be able to continue making a living in this business. That's all we care
We
about.
make good music. We just want to
Yeah.
make good music.
Well, that I can attest to that you do. You know, you two walk into a room, you start singing, people stop talking. Rarely does that happen when
I thought it
people,
was just because we look so mean and ugly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. People are scared to say anything.
they're like, uh-oh, those dudes again. So, Joe, so you're producing this album, you've had your own career. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you landed here with Tom.
Oh, man.
Start wherever you want.
It's pretty much like Tom said. I met him at that deal, but before that, I'd been to Nashville and did the whole band thing there and signed a record deal and just didn't work out, you know, mainly because of alcohol and, you know, not knowing when to say no, and got through a lot of that. And wound up coming to terms with myself and realizing that the music they were making in Nashville was not where I needed to be because it wasn't what I was doing. So I was going to explore the Texas scene just because of the purity of it. And, you know, you could go and play original music and people would actually come out and listen,
Which is rare.
rare in a lot of cases. So
Right.
when I got to Texas, it all fell into place, and it felt so much like home that I knew that it was going to be a good spot for me. And shortly after that, I ran into Tom, and we just kind of, I mean, I ran into a lot of wonderful musicians and wonderful friends along the way that I'll have lifetime friends from this journey. But yeah, this has been a fun ride here, and we're going to keep going.
Yes.
Been a fast ride, that's for sure.
Yes.
It seems like just yesterday we were going, wouldn't it be nice if?
Yeah.
For how many days have we been here? 6 now? 6
Yeah,
days?
6 days, and it has been wide open. Everybody's been putting in at least 12 to 15 hours a day in
Right.
the studio. And they've done really well with trying to balance, you know, sobriety with recording. Everybody's done well.
Yeah, it's been pretty good on that front,
And, well,
actually.
you know, I think everybody, I think it was the second day we were in here, and it was like it was just electric in this room, and we all had felt like there was something going on the night before with Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar. And the
I
next,
can't even, like,
Which
just
will-
thinking about it just gives me the
Well,
chills.
we might as well talk about this.
Oh,
Yeah, we should talk about this.
So this is 62 Esquire that Chad played on, I think, at least 3 tracks. This thing's just got a presence and a sound that's out of this world. And it actually belonged to Stevie Ray Vaughan and I believe Eric Johnson.
Eric
if I'm
Johnson,
not,
yeah. So
mistaken.
Stevie's brother bought it for him.
Yeah.
It's one of the few that actually aren't with the estate anymore.
And one of the few tellies, I'm assuming, because
Mhm.
you know, he was a Strat player. But yeah, this guitar has magic in it. There's no doubt about it.
You'll have to check out Chris Couture, who's with us, photographs online, because Chris is amazing. The photos he's captured are stunning. And there is a series of photos right over here. You can't see it. It's out of the shot where Joe was playing. And there are orbs in 8 or more of the photos. And in one, there are 4 orbs. And we all kind of felt this. I know this is sounding crazy saying it on film, but there was something that happened in the room.
Yeah.
And it also happened when Chad picked up a guitar,
Well,
right?
it was the same guitar the
Same
night
gu-
before.
Yeah, so
I
it was,
Yeah,
it
I had
was-
my eyes closed.
yes.
And he was playing, and I know Chad's tone, and I was just enveloped in the music, and then all of a sudden, the tone changed, the way, the style of the bendings changed, everything changed, and I looked up, and Chad he didn't know any different, he was just doing his thing, but me, I was hearing it, it all. And it was, I think that is a small piece of what's been happening to all of us in this whole record.
I completely agree. I mean, this place that we're at, Sonic Ranch, is kind of like an oasis in the middle of a pecan grove near the border of Mexico. We're in Tenillo.
Mile away from the border.
We are 1 mile from the border, and you're so safe here
Mhm.
and so taken care of, and it makes it ideal for musicians because they do your laundry, they cook for you. You walk in here in the morning, you get we work all day, you get to go back and rest in a safe, it's quiet. I've never slept this well away from home in my entire life. And so it's designed to let the music come out of you. And I feel like that's exactly what's happened here.
Oh, yeah, and they surround you with some of the most incredible gear that and no one could ever afford in one lifetime.
Yeah, this collection.
Yeah, this collection is, I'm just blown away by the things. People walk in, can I have that George Harrison something? And I'm still stuck on George. I'm not even to the,
Yeah.
I'm like, did you just say George Harrison? Did you say Stevie Ray Vaughan and Billy Gibbons? You know,
Right.
this is like a Disneyland for musicians.
Oh, it is. And
For
they,
sure.
they make you feel so comfortable with the gear.
Yeah,
You know, you don't feel like you're handling China.
priceless artifacts.
Yeah.
Which is what it is,
Which
really.
what
It
really
is. I mean,
Right.
we were standing around at one point, looking around going, it's just laying in the corner.
Yeah, there's a 54.
I would put a shrine around there.
There's a 54 Les Paul Gold Top back there that looks like it just rolled off of the maker's bench. And it's just sitting back there in a case.
Waiting to be played.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
And when
but
you
it's
get here,
it's
you
an
get
actual
to
54.
choose,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
They have a
like,
music room that's stocked full of amps and guitars. Everything is vintage. Not only vintage, but it's got some kind of history. A lot of this stuff's been friended to him by people who were on a really good run. Or I mean, this place not only did it do a lot of some big names in American music, but Latino music.
all over the world.
Yeah.
We've got people with different languages running through here, and we're all trying to coexist.
right.
But it's all smiles.
Yeah, you can just feel the love in this
Yeah.
place. There's no
Right.
doubt about it. It's
And-
all love.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Tony, the owner of the Sonic Ranch, one of the most intelligent, interesting human beings I've ever met in my life. He's the owner and I would say curator of where we are. There's some very interesting, it's just a place full of music and art, we'll say that. And
The tapestry on the wall. You know,
these tapestries, I'm sure you can see them behind us, are from all over the world. And it just is an environment that serves musicians and artists well.
The artwork alone.
Yeah,
in
the
this
art.
place is just incredible.
It's incredible. And so we had dinner with Tony the other night, and we all just sat very still. And I asked questions, and he spoke. And I've never been at a table with 14 people where someone actually held the table.
Yeah.
And Tony held the table. None of us would even dare try to interject.
I'm on that big workout thing and trying to lose some more weight for my blood pressure. I would not dare touch a pecan pie, but Tony got that large pecan pie with ice cream.
Right.
I got it too.
That was one of the best steaks I've ever had in my life. But
Incredible.
the other thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention is Rupert Neve. We're in the Neve room. There are a limited number of them in the world, and the one we're working with is extraordinary. It's actually 2 Neve boards that have been joined together, and there are extraordinary stories behind it. I don't want it to be all about Neve, but it's a blessing to work on a board with that much history.
If you have any kind of imagination of how music works and electricity and what was the word we were looking for? I was looking for earlier, just the vibration, synergy, and all that. You've had Diana Ross. You've had some of the best of Motown run through that.
Madonna.
Madonna.
You know.
Yeah, and it's like we're running right through those same channels, and I think we're picking up, you know, pieces of what they left behind, because
I agree.
we could never have put this album together. We couldn't have dreamed this big on this album.
Right.
From the moment we stepped foot in here, we were slowly taught by ourselves that we're not in control. And this has been the most relaxing project I've ever been in my
Oh.
entire life.
In the music world, by far, this is the easiest one I've ever been a part of. And I just want to say that I'm thankful and honored that you invited me to be a part of all this.
Well, I mean, this is it. We're not going to do any more interviews on this album. We want to focus on touring and taking care of giving that album all the promotion it deserves. And well, they go, why don't you do interviews? Because every interview, which I can appreciate and I love the fact that people want to interview, but they get everything so distorted, messed up, and they got all their opinions. And I don't want this album to have any stigma on it. When you hold it in your hand, I don't want you to anticipate anything. I want you to go into it with an open mind. You
You're
know?
like me, when I see a band the first time, I don't want to have heard them.
Right.
I want to walk in blind
Experience that.
and experience them,
Yeah.
not someone else's opinion or
Yeah.
a lick on a streaming service that won't explain to me what they sound like live.
Well,
And so that's what you're going to deliver
well,
as
and
an
that's,
experience.
and it's not like I'm trying to sell promote or act like a big shot, because this is all Joe. Joe was hearing everything, and instead of changing it in the direction we wanted to go, he was like, we need to let it go where it's going to go. And I trust Joe, so I went that direction. And I've walked out of the room and come back and been so surprised at how it grew since I left. And that's why the singing last night We knocked out, what, 5 songs last night?
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop because the music that I
Well,
was
it was
hearing
coming
was
through
for the
you,
first time.
right,
I'd
and-
never heard the band play full like
Right.
that. I hadn't heard those tunes yet, and when they were coming at me, I knew the words, but I didn't know the mojo, so I just,
Once you got it,
and I think everything was in within 5 takes,
yeah.
pretty much.
I can't wait for people to hear this album, hearing it from beginning to end and being through
I
the
can't wait
whole
to hear it from
process.
beginning to end. I can't even wrap my head around it right now.
It's just an honor and a privilege, so I'm very thankful. I'll be thankful till the end of my days that you invited me into your world and to the studio, and,
Do I call you Duchess?
um,
I think we know each other better now. We're
I think
beyond
you
that.
could, I think you could call me Cheryl. But I'm so thankful for both of your friendship, and it's an honor and a privilege to be invited into someone's inner circle. I don't take it lightly. It's something I'll forever be grateful for.
Likewise, you've brought a lot of love and joy and stories to this too. I mean, this whole thing is a group effort. We plan on everybody that's been here and been a part of it. They're going to be recognized because they've all had something to do with this album. Everybody, and that's just blowing my mind. I love it. I didn't think this was possible ever again. You know, I thought I was born too late and missed all that love, music stuff, and it's
I'm the
happening.
interviewer, you're not supposed to make me cry.
Oh, okay, and I'll stop. Get the violin.
So-
Get the fiddle out. Let's push it to the limit.
So let's get
So I
the.
was a small poor child in a
Should-
storm.
Let's not make me cry. I've cried probably 6 times. When you're in this and you feel something come to life, it's birthing an album. It's giving life to your world. It's a beautiful thing we've experienced, and this will go down as one of my favorite memories of all. So
Mine too.
thank you for inviting me in. So let's tell the people where we can find the information about the new record label and your music pages.
Well, Joe and I both have our own music pages, Tom McElvain Music on Facebook and Joe Austin Music on Facebook. And everything that we're doing is slowly being directed to the Committed record label. And I believe they started a fan page, which is called The Committed.
The committed
Few.
The Committed Few.
I like that.
When the article comes out, I'll put the links in the bio, and
Okay, and that'll be the where you want to go to see what everything's going on.
Everything's
And
gonna be channeled through
Yeah,
that page,
is-
so.
Joe and I, we feel less, or I feel less as an entertainer or songwriter as I do like a movie director, because every album we're going in a whole different direction. We're trying to visualize all this stuff, and it's like this next album that's going to be his lets me fall back and work on my bass, you know, my guitar, all that stuff that I can not focus on trying to be a front man on this stuff, and vice versa. And for some reason, he's in a range and I'm in a range that isn't supposed to coexist, but it works.
But it works.
But it works.
yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah, when you guys sing together and play together, it's
Yeah.
mesmerizing.
it's a lot of fun, and he's a lot of fun to share the stage with. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing just because he's intense.
Yeah, I'm aware.
He starts playing. When we first started touring together, I go, did I do something wrong? Did I piss you off on stage? He goes, no, I get this look.
Right, when he's on stage, I try not to
Yeah.
make direct eye
Jesus,
contact.
what did I
Like,
do to you?
I'm just gonna watch.
It's
I'm just gonna go over here. He's in his mode, you
Yeah.
know.
It's just the bad looks I have. I just kind of fall into a place, and that's kind of what comes on my face. I don't know why.
So funny.
But
Well-
we've got that Facebook page, the fan page, for everybody to get together and know that that's the focal point of what we're doing. And we're fixing to rebuild and launch the Committed website. And basically, we started a record label so we could continue making our own style of music, but continue working together at the same time.
Right. It's a conglomerate effort, but you get to be yourselves and you get to be a
Right.
band.
And
So
it definitely leaves a lot more room for creativity.
And a possibility of helping friends
Others.
and
Right.
musicians that
And that's,
have the same look at what we're doing, you know.
right,
I want to do it
like-mindedness.
for the purity of it and the love of it versus trying to make money with it.
well, that's I think our end game that we'd like to see is us working full-time in our own studio, promote bands that we feel like are really tuned into what they're, regardless of what the music is.
Yeah, regardless of what they
Right.
do, yeah.
Yeah,
Right, I can get that.
yeah.
So we'll have people follow you on Committed Records on social media. I know we're gonna be doing some fun giveaways and some exciting
Yeah.
things here coming up, so you'll wanna stay tuned for that.
A bunch of swag to unload you.
Yeah, we have some swag to give away, everybody loves that. Thank you for letting me be a part of that as well.
Thank you for being here and getting to put it together so I can read it and remember all that stuff, because this has been such a whirlwind that I'm
Yeah.
fear that in a month from now, I'm gonna look back and go, I can't remember.
It's been an intense few days.
I started writing and I said, I have to go home and unpack it. It's, when you're in it, you know, it's hard to talk about it when you're in it.
Yeah,
It might come pouring out of me on the airplane, I'm not sure, but, you know, it's been a great new memory for me to have, and so thank you both for including me. So, I'm Cheryl Swift, Duchess of Rock and Roll. I'm here today with Tom and Joe, and we just made a record.
we did.
Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to do this with me, and we'll get the interview up soon and let everybody know what's going on.
Sounds great.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right, we're here at Sonic Ranch, and we wish you all peace, love, and rock and roll.